I am cheating on my husband and I cannot stop. I'm completely messed up. This is something I despise doing. I'm completely at a loss for words. A little background information and history. My partner is 32 years old, and I'm 29 years old female M. We've been in a relationship for 10 years. We were married 3 years ago this month. In general, we have a rather solid relationship. With complete confidence, I can say that he is my best friend in every manner. He respects and trusts me, and most importantly, he loves me. I admire him more than anything on the face of the earth. Or at least that's what I think. Basically, I caught him doing something I didn't approve of, watching porn. This set off a chain of events that brought our paradise to a grinding halt. This occurred a year before our wedding, and we had spoken about it several times before to this point. I told him right away that I didn't watch porn and that it would make me feel uncomfortable if he did as well, and he agreed. He said emphatically that he did not. He lied about something. To the contrary, he later admitted to me that he was addicted to adult entertainment. He couldn't keep his emotions under control. For 6 years, he kept it a secret from everyone. I felt like a complete stupid for having placed so much trust in him. The fact that others would consider something insignificant was the end of the world for me. I contemplated abandoning him, but we came to a mutually beneficial deal. As a consequence of this, our life was wrecked for the foreseeable future. I accepted his offer once he made the suggestion. Somehow, though, something had changed inside of me. The experience of having relations with him was terrible. He never touched or made me climax. It was never a pleasant experience. He seemed to be doing it only for his own benefit. Since I had imagined he was exceptional at everything, and that I was never good enough for him, this had escaped my notice. However, after I saw him watching porn, my opinion of him transformed radically in my mind. He didn't seem to be infallible anymore. Despite this, I decided to give us another opportunity. It was many months before our wedding, and a new employee had begun working for my organization. The moment I saw her, I was completely taken. After 7 years of marriage, I had never felt this passionately about my partner until now. I was on a frantic search for him. It wasn't difficult for me to capture his notice since I'm a really lovely woman. We had a good conversation and got along well. We started to socialize with one another. We kissed because one thing led to another, and we couldn't stop ourselves. I immediately felt awful, and I decided to put a stop to it before it could evolve into anything further. In the pub, I struck up a conversation with the next person. My encounter with him was interrupted by guilt, and nothing more occurred between us. This continued on for quite some time, with 8 different guys arriving and departing. I never had relations with any of them because I was frightened of compromising my marriage to my husband. Now I'm completely smitten with this man I've been emailing for the last several weeks, whom I met via a mutual connection. My husband is away on business at the moment. I'm alone in my apartment. He has extended an invitation to me to his residence. He is completely ignorant of my marital status. My husband is completely unaware that I've been doing this behind his back for the last 3 years. I'm not sure how I'm going to keep myself under control. Please be of service. There is nothing I would rather have happen than the end of my marriage. I really want us to get some exercise, but I'm not sure how I'm going to prevent myself from cheating. I'm not telling my husband because I'm afraid he'll leave me, but I'd want things to work out in the end. This is something I am unable to do anymore. Flings that lasted 1 week followed by anguish and grief. When I returned home to my marriage, it seems like every guy I've met has taken a piece of me with him. Please be of service to me. What should I do in this situation? Edit. For those who believe I'm crazy, I already know. I'm going to make an effort to fix it right now. I didn't have any close pals who could advise me to quit doing what I was doing. Who knew that strangers on the internet would be the catalyst for me to take command of the situation? I've been a lousy wife and companion to my spouse. He's been nothing but helpful to me. I'm going to call him right now. If he chooses to leave me, which he should since I am a nasty person who does not deserve his love, then be it. I am willing to suffer any adversity that may help me become a less awful person. Once I speak with my hubby, I will publish an edit. Edit 2. Last night has to be one of the most difficult evenings of my life. All of my demons had caught up with me. On the phone, I spoke with my spouse. He didn't hang up, which surprised me. He listened to everything I said as I poured my heart out to him and told him everything. From how his porn addiction impacted me to my several times cheating on him. He began weeping as he listened. Hearing him scream like that made me want to commit suicide. I'd never heard somebody weep so hard in my life. Me too, he said. Someone seemed to have shot me in the heart. He responded, me too, implying that he had also been disloyal to me. I'm not sure how much he's been unfaithful to me at this point. All I have to do now is wait for him to get home, and we can go through the specifics. One thing I'm certain of is that we can't remain together. If he had been doing the same to me, we would not be even. It just makes things worse. Story 2. I think my son, 8, tried to kill my daughter, 16, last night. Despite the fact that my child has always been incredibly quiet, and since he was 3 years old, he has been in speech and language therapy because he lacks communication skills, he does not display any other signs of being on the autism spectrum. He has normally great social abilities with his classmates and with me. For example, he likes playing with toys, listening to tales, attending children's parties, and making loud sounds, among other things. In dire need of advice and support, I'm sitting here in the middle of nowhere because I've suddenly got significant concerns about my kid, and I loathe the idea that I'm even thinking about it. In the last several months, he's developed a fascination with knives and other sharp objects, perhaps since October. The sticks in his bed have been chopped to form pointed points, and when I confront him about them, he flees in tears and refuses to answer my questions. Every time I cook, he rushes into the kitchen to watch me cut things up with the knife. If I use a regular butter knife instead of the sharp knife, he cries and points to the sharp knife, indicating that he wants to see me use it. He draws pictures of knives and people, usually in the form of long-haired females. His teachers allege that he purposely breaks scissors in half during art class in order to make them seem like knives, and that he then tries to hide the blades in his pockets. The behavior has been reviewed with his pediatrician, who has advised me that he is merely playing out his active imagination, and that there is nothing to be concerned about unless he is trying to harm others or himself. I am concerned that he is attempting to harm others or himself. His sister, who is 16 years old, sleeps in a separate room from him, while he sleeps in the first. Earlier last evening, my daughter barged into my room, demanding at me to get her younger brother out of her room. I was confused as to why he was in there because he's always been a terrific sleeper to begin with. She also said that he prodded her in the neck with a pointed stick when she awakened, and that she awoke with a little but evident red scratch a few millimeters below her chin as a result of the probing. When I walked into her room, he was asleep in his bed, and I had to wake him up. I then went into his room, checking for any sharp objects. I found nothing in his bed, and I had removed anything sharp from his room and out of his reach. Anyway, I eventually located a pen stashed underneath an empty toilet paper behind his wardrobe, which I promptly reported to him. The pen had been shattered, leaving razor-sharp edges, and I was horrified to discover this upon closer inspection of the object. My daughter feels he was trying to damage her on purpose, and she is concerned that he may kill her. Even worse, she is now recalling instances in which she awakened and had the distinct impression that someone was sitting in her bed staring at her, which she thinks to be him. The fact that he tried to kill her last night makes me really nervous. I'm not sure why, how, or whether I'm just going insane or overthinking everything, or if I should even admit that he has a problem in the first place. As a result, I'm taking him to the doctor tomorrow, since there is no school in the UK today, where I'll ask for treatment and everything more that can be done. I'm terrified, but I also see him as my innocent little boy, and I'm at a loss for words.